A very pleasant evening to you all, my dear participants. Very happy to gather again and get back to this very important series of ESG, second series on the 15th one, second series in the whole of 15th series. Now, the topic for discussion today would be ESG risks, opportunities, and business impact. After having discussed what ESG is, the basics of it, the fundamentals of it, how important it is. Now, let us state one fact at the very beginning of this session that the businesses which are ignoring ESG are quietly bleeding money, whereas those which master it are quietly pulling ahead, they are going forward. So now it's time for you as business executives, business owners, to decide which one you're actually building. And now let's go deeper into this. So as we had seen what ESG was earlier, now we are going to walk through what this ESG is. And now we are going to see that ESG is not just a checklist, rather it is a future value for business. Now, it is not just a reporting tool, it is something which makes such a huge difference whether as to decide whether our business would still survive and still be as prosperous as it is now in the next 5 years, in the year 2030, for example, is still. So in this session, I have organized my presentation into these following heads. What ESG means for a business performance, what risks organizations generally overlook, and if we can convert those risks into opportunities, what we can capture from that business, why customers, investors, and regulators care for this ESG, and how this ESG shapes competitiveness, how it creates growth, how it gives profit to your organization. All these things we'll be discussing in this session. And we have seen that ESG is about environment, resources, saving our biodiversity, non-polluting, and such things. And social is about how an organization manages its people, its communities, and stakeholders. Governance is about how a organization is actually governing its working, what systems are around, what principles govern this, how effective these principles are, what framework governs this, are there ethics in this, how strong are the values which govern this governance. These aspects would be seen in, or we have seen already in governance. We'll further dig deeper into it now. And now there are some risks, some examples of risks which would occur if this ESG is not given care of. Water shortages, for example, this we can always expect. Employee turnover in the sense movement of employees. New employees might come in, the older ones might go out, but if is it being done properly? Safety incidents, it's a risk. Reputational damage is a risk. Corruption, regulatory risks, all this we'll see. Now, why is this becoming so important? It's not an optional thing. It's shaping the direction of the business. ESG is shaping the direction of the business because customers are looking for trust, for brand, for value, for ethics, for real content in the products that they are getting, longevity, sustainability in the products, and all these are looked upon and decided before a customer buys a product. So from the customer point of view, ESG of a company is very important. From investors, be it large investors, domestic investors, or foreign investors, especially the institutional ones, DIIs and FIIs, They look into what a company is. In addition to what its regular functioning is, they look into the ESG aspects. They take it as a metric in deciding how this company would flourish. Banks, which would lend money, which would give capital, also look into ESG reports to judge a company and give its capital. Supply chains, right from where the product starts to its end, where it reaches the customer, and even beyond that, there ESG is playing a role. Regulators are paying compliance, making it compliant, making it compulsory all over the globe. In India, SEBI has done it. It is done in terms of BRSR. So employees also look into companies which are ESG strong. Now, as you see here, the question is no longer about should we care about ESG. It's rather about can we afford to ignore it and still survive properly, still shine. That is the question. So we can't afford to ignore ESG. We are bound to adopt it. We are bound to follow it and reap the advantages of ESG. So now, what principles govern this? NGRBC, National Guidelines on Responsible Business Conduct. A set of 9 principles are laid by this NGRBC. So uh, ESG stands on these 9 principles. We'll see what those 9 principles are in the next slide. Responsible conduct applied across business operations. ESG performance, measurement of ESG in terms of metrics, numerical values. So we have already seen in our previous sessions that ESG is a aspect, whereas BRSR is the metric of it, the mathematical equivalent, the value of it. So the next one is BRSR reporting. So this BRSR is reported via disclosures through a SEBI's framework. BRSR is the framework. SEBI is the one which has mandated it. Securities Exchange Board of India has done it as a mandate. As we have seen in our previous sessions, it was not compliant earlier. Now, in the year 2026, we have made further progress where BRSR core is introduced. BRSR assurance is introduced. So in before 2020, it was not at all there as a compliance. It was not compulsory, voluntary it was. 23, it was made mandatory. Initially, 500 companies were made, top 500 companies in the NSE list or BSE listed companies were made mandatory to attend, to give their BRSR reports, submit it openly to the government as well as in their websites. And it was increased to top 1,000 companies later. Now it is not just about giving your report, you have to also get it validated. BRSR is to be assured. External third-party validation is made mandatory now. And we are not just going into all the aspects, we are just looking into the core aspects of it. Core BRSR is given more importance. Materiality plays the role. Which aspect is actually making an impact? What matters is what we call materiality. Materiality is given importance now. So the basic 20% is the top 20% material aspects are given more importance now. You should all be knowing what 2080 concept is. The which 20% of impactful value works would influence the 80% of the other works as well. So PRSR core is about that 20% which would impact the entire business. So that is also a recent outcome, a recent advancement in this year 2026. So it is very short now. Your companies should probably be preparing for this BRSR reports now. You should be already halfway through it, because I think September is the month where you will be submitting your reports to SEBI. So we are already gearing up for it. So now, going by this slide, here we have ESR as ESG is a global thing and BRSR is India specific defined by SEBI. BRSR is not ESG. BRSR is the framework to report ESG. And today's focus is not reporting, it is understanding its business implications. It's about realizing its importance. It's about knowing how it could drive a company into profit, how it could make a company resilient to fight risks, to fight turmoils, and still survive in the face of difficulties. That's what this BRSR framework will be making us prepared for. And so, see this ESG is the destination, for example, NGBRC is the map, and BRSR is the passport stamp that proves you actually made the journey. It's a report, it's a framework, it's a proof that you have actually done it. So, this is how it goes. So, as I have said, we have got 9 principles which govern this NGRBC. The first one is ethics, transparency, and accountability. So a company is based on ethics, values, transparency, what actually it is doing, what are its functions, how effectively it is functioning, what systems are going through it, where is the hierarchy, who is the management, where is the hierarchy, and how exactly are the responsibilities being divided, who actually takes up these tasks, and all these sort of things. How accountable the administration is all the first principle looks into. The second one is sustainable products and services. We all know sustainability is, and based on sustainability, the products meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs is sustainability. And the products also should be sustainable. A product should live for long, and the services given by the company, be it products or services, should be sustainable. This is the second principle on which NGRBC lays emphasis on. And the third one is employee well-being. Employee is the pillar of an organization. Employee well-being is of vital importance. Employee safety, employees well-being, good work culture. This is a third principle. And stakeholder responsiveness. Responsiveness in the sense how a company is responding to the stakeholder. A stakeholder always will have some say dissatisfaction, might not be always happy with the product. He could be happy with the product as well. Anything can happen. And how responsive with the company is with the stakeholder, with the customer or client, or is the company responding well immediately to the questions raised by the customer or client, how prompt that response is, how well that response is, how value addition that response gives. Is it making the customer satisfied? Is it making that customer happy with the product that we give and the response that we give to the customer? This is dealt with in the stakeholder responsiveness principle. Human rights. Human rights are to be cared upon by the company or industry. So that is again this fifth principle. Environmental protection is the sixth principle. Non-polluting, resources conservation, sustainable development. These are environmental protection. Preserving biodiversity, caring for the planet, caring for our fellow animals and trees, for human beings, caring for our resources, caring for our Mother Earth, protecting it. This is the sixth pillar or sixth principle of NGRBC. And the seventh one is responsible public policy engagement. How responsibly a company is with respect to the government policies, to the public policies. Is it in alignment with it? Is it obeying the regulations laid by the government? To what extent is it following properly? These are dealt with in this responsible public policy engagement. The next eighth principle is inclusive growth. Inclusive growth in the sense growth is not limited to a person, to this company alone. Your company shining alone is not enough. The stakeholders should be shining, and Who are stakeholders? Stakeholders term has now become broader now. We don't just call a stakeholder a stakeholder. We call it interested party. Interested party is the stakeholder in today's modern terminology. Because an interested party need not essentially be purchasing your products or services. He may still be a third person overlooking you, not exactly involved anywhere in your value chain, but still he plays a role. Because if that person says good about your business, feels that your business is good, looks at your business from a distance, sees that your business is doing good, and if he spreads his word of mouth that this business is good, then that company would shine. On the other hand, if he goes negative, that would also have its impact on your business. So inclusive growth is about satisfying the interested parties as well. How do we do this? Care our society, care our people, care our nation, care our everything around environment. So part of what you have earned as your profit, distribute it. Growth is not for you alone. If you are earning some money, distribute it to some others. The more you give, the more you get. What goes around comes around. So this way, inclusive growth is growth for you, growth for your fellow beings as well. Inclusive growth for all, including everyone. That is inclusive growth. So this inclusive growth is not about people just connected with your company. It's about making it available to everybody, irrespective of whether he's a part of your company or not. This expands. This causes an expansion. You grow a lot. Right. The next pillar is customer value and responsibility. How much value is being given to a customer in terms of the product or service that we give? How responsibly we do this? How much of real worth the product that you give carries to the customer is what is dealt with this ninth principle. So this is in brief all the nine principles which would be governing ESG. The details of all these, the metrics of all this. I was saying all these as aspects or as theoretical things, but each one has got a metric. When I say inclusive growth, how much of inclusive growth? Can you measure it? Is there a numeric for it? Yes, it is. That is the framework which BRSR does. This will be dealing detailedly in the upcoming sessions. Now, coming to the risks and opportunities. Say, you just imagine that there is a electricity price rise 20% overnight. And what would happen to the profit of your company? What would be the cost of your products? Will you still stay competitive meeting the 20% rise in electrical price? So this is not a case which I'm speaking about randomly. It has happened already. For say, for example, the 2022 global energy shock. So many were caught in this because they were not prepared. They had no plan. They were just moving about. And this sudden risk which has hit them had had an impact on them. And they were not able to move through it, make through it successfully. But the ones who were prepared, they came out of it. That is where we say that this company is resilient. Your company is resilient if your company can foresee what the risks it can face in future and be prepared to face those risks now itself. That you call as resilience. Meeting the challenges of the future now itself. So see the risks here. Energy cost escalation due to energy alone, we are speaking here. Fuel price volatility, carbon pricing exposure, supply disruptions. All these are the risks. Risks are risks only for the unprepared. For the prepared, risks are opportunities. So if, for example, you're already prepared with energy, renewable energy, you got solar plants, solar panels, you got windmills with you, then this energy challenge can never hit you. Rather, it will give you a competitive edge. You can thrive, survive, and prosper because you've got renewable energy. You're not dependent on anybody. Over a course of time, this pays back. Right. Energy efficiency upgrades. You can make this upgradation. This is an opportunity you can look into. When your fate has given a lemon, like, convert it into a lemonade. This is what the saying goes like. Lower operating costs, carbon market opportunities. So what risks are to a company which is not prepared will become opportunities to a company which is ESG ready. So how exactly we become ESG ready is what we are in this going to learn and implement through in these sessions. So see the case in a case where a manufacturing facility cut energy consumption by 15%. We can't go to everything all of a sudden. At least 15% through energy efficiency upgrades, through renewable energy, through conversion of commuting from petrol and diesel vehicles to electric vehicles. Such small changes, if you can make to your company, but in a prepared and planned manner, then you can cut the costs of your execution and operation, and you can get higher margins, you get more stronger, you become more competitive, and this can happen within a very short period of time if we can implement it properly. Now, the second risk we'll be saying is about environmental risks. So this was an actual incident which happened in the year 2019 in the month of June. There was a day, people of Chennai woke up to a day where four main reservoirs ran completely dry. Imagine 11 million people going without water. Everybody was in panic. Factories, hotels, hospitals, common man, everybody was in peril. No water at all. How can a city survive? How can people survive? Industries had to pay more to get through this. So it was an incident which happened actually. So risks are not imaginary. Risks happen. It's a way of life. We have to face them, be prepared to face them. And this is just one issue. This happened in Chennai, and this can happen in Hyderabad also, because a government think tank named the city Hyderabad among the top 21 Indian cities that could be at the risk of exhausting of groundwater. So we are at the risk of groundwater exhaustion. Hyderabad city is at risk of it. It's not a distant problem. It's a local one. It's a one which can affect us. It's not a distant one. And speaking of industries which would get affected, water intensive companies would be affected. What are water intensive companies? Say textile industries, beverages, electronics industries, food processing industries, manufacturing industries. These are the ones which would be experiencing the worst of the impact. Every company will be experiencing it, but this will be the worst effect. So the risks associated if ESG is not taken care of are water scarcity, groundwater restrictions, production interruptions. These will be the risks. And now for the prepared, for the ESG ready, for the BRS or framework compliant company, this is an opportunity. If you have already water efficient programs in hand in your company, if you have already planned for it and implemented it, this risk is no longer a risk for you. It's an opportunity. You stay ahead. All other companies would be suffering and you will be enjoying because you're foolproof, you're resilient. Company stays strong and successful and prosperous. Water recycling systems, reducing operational risks. So these are the opportunities which we can see and build upon build around in our companies, in our industries. So environmental risks are there everywhere. It can happen. It's not about environmental risk for the environment, it's environmental risk for the business. Don't we need not We should not assume that environmental issues are for environment, it's not for my company. No, it's not like that. Environmental risk is for my own business, it's for my people, right? So it is said here that water is no longer only an environmental issue, it's a business continuity issue. Business continuity issue, whether the business would continue or not. Such impactful it can turn into if not paid proper importance for. Coming to the next aspect, social risk. Now, see this case, which would cost more? Paying your employees a little more or losing your trained employees every year? Which would be better? You have taken lots of pains in training your employees. They have got accustomed to your company. They are prospering, they are happily living, and they are contributing to your company. And slightly increase their pay from whatever profits you have got, you give it to your company, to your employees. That way, you will be retaining your skill set because employees are your driving force. So, your company and people in your company, when they are kept happy, your business also shines. This is not just the case of a moral or ethical preaching here. I'm not preaching here. It is mathematical. See the hidden math here. Replacing a skilled employee costs about 50 to 200% of their annual salary. Getting a new employee and training him would cost 50 to 200% of their annual salary. Whereas retaining that employee, you will be saving that 50 to 200% of additional expenditure, in addition to continuing your productivity and work functionality and working. So a 20% turnover rate isn't a HR static, it's a recurring tax on your bottom line. So see here the risks associated with this: employee turnover, skill shortages, labor disputes, low morale. These are the risks for the unprepared. And for the opportunity, for the prepared, the opportunities are better retention of employees, higher productivity, more productivity. Work people work happily, employees work happily, work more, productivity increases, they become happy, your company becomes happy. Improved work culture, right working culture, right work culture, ethics, proper work-life balance, prosperity, stronger employer brand. This creates a brand for the employer, not for the employee alone. For the employer, it creates a brand. Because an employer, you as a chairman of your company would be praised. You would become a brand who stands in the market for treating its employees good, for creating a good work environment, for making your employee improve his skills, for making your employee improve his skill set, knowledge base, and thereby simultaneously co-benefiting from him in improving your own company and your industry. So this is again a win-win situation. So these are the opportunities for the person who is caring for ESG, PRSR. People related risks often surface long before the financial losses become visible. So even before the financial losses become visible, people related risks some surface up, it comes up. So by the time we see it in numbers, that is in terms of financial losses, your best people might have already started looking elsewhere, they might have gone. So it's a metric. Yeah. Coming to the next risk, where we see the safety and business continuity. All of you would probably knowing this case of Rana Plaza. It is in Dhaka, Bangladesh, capital city of Bangladesh. So it was a huge garment factory there, this Rana Plaza. And you all know Bangladesh is a rich, is an in industrial country where textile industry is the one which thrives a lot. There in this Rana Plaza showed up, that building showed up cracks, huge cracks. And the administration of those industries, a set of industries were there in that, a set of companies were there in that plaza. They did not pay attention to it. They did not pay attention to the well-being of its employees. So they were asked to come back to work even after observing the cracks in the building. All of a sudden, it so happened that the total structure collapsed. A worst catastrophe, we should say, killing more than 1,000 people. So what happened after this? A huge loss in its terms itself, in its own terms, because loss of life is not a small thing. In addition to that, within weeks, over 200 global retailers cut ties with these companies because it was unsafe, and they signed off their accords. The entire industry was forced to change. So such serious it was. The production stopped. Compensation claims surfaced up. So the industries had to pay for the compensation of the lost lives and properties. Regulatory interventions, investigations started up, and they had to face the law. Damage of reputation was there. So what could have all got saved if they have given proper attention to its employees for the safety of the employees? Negligence of it had costed a lot, huge loss. So this is a typical example often cited in safety concerns. So just imagine 1 month of operational shutdown, how much it would cost for an organization. Huge loss. So stronger safety performance on the other side would have led to fewer disruptions. Paying attention to safety might have resulted in lesser disruptions. Productivity might have increased. Employee trust might have increased because employees feels confident that his employer or her employer is caring for him. Trust grows. So we'll go to the next risk case study of governance. See, this is also an actual incident which happened. It was in 2009, January. It was in Hyderabad itself. It was an IT company. This company, which had once won a Golden Peacock Award for corporate governance, fell down all of a sudden. The reason was that the one of its founder had fabricated that it has bagged up 7,000 crores of profit, which actually had not occurred. He just showed up saying that his company massively profited up to 7,000 crores of rupees, more than 7,000 crores of rupees, whereas actually it was not so. So later it was found that it was a fraud, lies. And after that, what happened? The company, whose annual turnover was 36,000 crores, fell down to 5,600 crores in just a few days. So this was due to one founder's wrong confession, giving out numericals which were not actually existent. So because of this, the company collapsed. So who caused this collapse? It was not a competitor of the company who collapsed this. It was neither a recession which collapsed this company. It was governance failure alone. Failure of governance, wrong ethics, bad ethics, untrue values, lies. This has caused collapse of that company. So Just we cannot say that this will be only for a few companies. This can happen everywhere to anyone. The common risks associated or could happen in any company or fraud, corruption, data breach, ethical failures, and weak controls. The management could be very strong, ethically strong, but still, if its employees, if it doesn't have control over its employees, they can do this, and that would reflect on the company. The reputation and brand of the company would fall just because though the company management is strong ethically, it doesn't have control over its employees. That is also a risk. So the consequences of this: financial loss, legal exposure, loss of trust, contract termination, all this. On the other hand, if you have good control over your employees, if you see that your company has got good ethics, your industry doesn't has data breaches, if your company is foolproof against corruption and no fraud can enter into your company, then how can you actually prove that you are so? By being transparent. Say whatever you are doing transparently, whatever is being done by your company, put it up in records, put it as reports, show it up truly to the government, to people, to your customers, stakeholders, interested parties, to everybody. You show what you're doing actually. So that transparency will save against all these risks. Stability, better decisions, long-term resilience, these are some qualities of good governance. Now, seeing the capital lens, looking from the lens of the capital in the sense money flow. Investors, why investors care ESG? Say a domestic investor, institutional investor, DII, or a FII, foreign institutional investor, if he has to invest into your industry or company, why should he invest into you? He invests you so that he can make profits, he can grow along with the growth of your company. That is his intention. So he should have a trust in you, and he should be able to find in you the growth factor, the resilience factor, that you can stand against challenges and risks in future. How would he be assured of it? What would he see actually in you, in your company? He would be looking the long-term risks. He sees if your business is resilient against future challenges and risks, unseen factors. Is your company regulatory ready? Is it following all the principles of your particular government regulations? How strong and how good it is in adopting all those regulations? How good the quality of your management is? So if these are found to be good, DIIs and FIIs would invest into your company, and you get easy access. They will assess your company in terms of this, and you get access to their investments, right? Poor performance, in turn, poor ESG performance would in turn would result in reduced funding access, higher borrowing costs, lower valuation. You have to, if you have to get capital, you will have to put higher borrowing costs. What would have flown in naturally would now have to go for borrowing. Valuation of your company would fall down, lower valuation. Whereas if you have strong ESG performance, you get greater investor confidence, investors come to you. Fundraising becomes easy, and the market perception of you is increased. So capital flows towards certainty. ESG performance is rapidly becoming the clearest signal investors is becoming the clearest signal that investors have for telling that resilient businesses are apart, they are separate from risky bets. Resilient businesses can be viewed by investors, can be seen by investors. How do they see it? They see it through your ESG reports, through your BRSR reports. And if they are true, if they are proper, then everything flows in. So ESG is to be paid importance. Now, why customers should care about ESG? We had seen investors. Why investors care about ESG, we had seen. Now, why should customers care about ESG? A company, Unilever, you might have heard this. This Unilever company promoted a brand of products based on sustainable living in the year 2018. And these branded products, which were particularly named sustainable, grew 69% faster than the rest of their own company products. So this is a documented evidence. Several such examples are there. I'm just citing one here. So sustainability is not a cost center, it's a growth engine. If you're sustainable, if your products are sustainable, if your goods are sustainable, services are sustainable, then your growth also is sustainable. This is seen in metrics. This is seen in as proof. Numerically, it is view, it is seen. There is proof for this. Customers show preference for organizations which are responsible, which are transparent, which are sustainable. If you are not responsible, customers will know it. So a company should be responsible. Then alone it can prosper. If this is not followed, what happens? The risk is that the customer is lost. A customer loss is a huge loss to a company. It is that customer is God. Customer becomes a God, a client becomes a God. So the risk is that a customer would be lost. That will be a loss to the company. Reduced competitiveness. We should stay strong competitive. If that competitiveness is lost, company's future is lost. Industry's future is lost. Brand damage could occur. And how can we turn these into opportunities? So if you're strong in these ESG aspects, the ones which we have discussed until now, then we get access to new markets, new customers, new markets would come to us, new clients would come to us. Your company would expand. You get a strong brand loyalty and you get yourself positioned as a premium brand. So these will be the opportunities. Now, one typical thing to be said here, if you are asked as a CEO of your company or as a chairman of your company, as a owner of your company, if I'm here to ask you, would your customers notice if your sustainable performance improved? I repeat, if will your customers notice whether your sustainability performance has got improved? If this is the question I were asking you, and if you were to say that you are not sure of it, then that uncertainty itself is a risk. So you should be sure that your customers are realizing that your sustainability is improving. You're sustainable. If that is the case, then your ESG metrics are good. You're strong. If you're uncertain that your customers are not certain whether you're sustainable or not, that itself is a proof that you're not being sustainable. Now, the procurement lens. So we have just discussed about the Rana Plaza, right? The Bangladesh incident. So now large buyers, we were seeing about investors, DIIs and FIIs. Now we'll see about large buyers. Clients and customers we have seen. They could be small buyers or even big buyers. But specifically now we say about large buyers. What do they ask for? A large buyer comes to your company and asks for these things. What are they? ESG disclosures. He asks how your ESG disclosures or BRSR reports, because it is through it that he judges your company. knows what your company is. He sees your carbon footprint data, because this carbon footprint data is becoming an authentic metric, an authentic parameter, especially for foreign exports, European Union or to the US or anywhere. Carbon footprint data is of vital importance. Labor practices is another thing this large buyer would ask for. Compliance evidence. How compliant are you to your own government? This is another thing this buyer will ask for. And if you have answers for all these, then he will buy your product. Large buyers buying your products will make your company prosper. So ESG disclosure is that important. Now, if if your company doesn't do these things, the result is, or the risk is, supplier exclusion. The buyer or the supplier will exclude you, keep you away from him. He will not buy. What will you do with your products which won't get sold? Contract loss will be there. Contractors, your contracts which you have got already might get lost. On the other hand, if you're strong here, what would be your opportunities? You get preferred supplier status. You will be the preferred supplier for them. Your company will be the preferred supplier. And you get long-term contracts. Your customers become clients long-term. These are the benefits. These are the opportunities if your ESG is strong. Now, if, for example, a largest customer of you asks for your ESG information, is your company ready with it? Do you have it ready in hand? How strong is it? Are there any pitfalls in it? Are there any gaps in it? Are you proving it? Are you giving it transparently? Are you giving it truly? Are you giving it wholesomely, completely? Whatever aspects the buyer is asking for, can he look through and see those aspects in your ESG report? Because nowadays, even if this ESG is becoming a compliance, 1,000 companies, top companies, to be giving this ESG reports, we can see that only a few companies are doing this properly. It is said that only the top Nifty 50 is doing this rightly. The others are not. There is some shortfall, some drawback here and there. There are some pitholes. So this is what we have identified. We have researched here at Zenith Energy. We have seen several BRSR reports. These are available. Everybody can see. In BRSR website, it is there. In every company's website, it is placed. We looked through several of them, and we saw that there were really good BRSR reports. Very nice BRSR reports were there. And we also saw some reports which have fallen short of a few aspects, one or the other. So this is where we would be helping you. This is where we would take our, you can take our services in getting them rectified and making your BRSR good. So now, if your largest customer asks for your ESG information, are you ready for that? You should be ready now, because the time is high. By September of this year, almost all companies would have to submit their ESG reports. So it is high time that your ESG reports are prepared properly now by this point of time. At least if now we can start, we can make it strong. Now, prioritization. Which ESG metric is to be paid more importance for? I have told you that there are a few shortcomings, a few pitfalls where a company is not properly giving its, was not able to properly report, be it actual executional failure or failure somewhere in reporting, even if it were performing well. Now, what is to be rectified? See this table here. We have got a rows Rows move from low impact to high impact sidewise, whereas columns falling down vertically, it's from low impact to high impact. Now, the one which should be paid most importance for is the fourth one, which has got a high probability and which has got a high impact. Any aspect which has got high probability and high impact should be given more importance for. It is more critical to be rectified. If it is a problem, it is to be rectified. If it is an aspect which strengthens you, you should be giving more importance to it and strengthening it even further. Right. So the other two things, high probability, low impact, and low probability, high impact, they would be standing midway. And the one which you could pay attention to later or gradually, slowly, it's the low probability and low impact. The highest importance should be given for the high probability and high impact aspects. These are the critical things. So how to identify which one is of high probability, which one is of high impact? This will be doing in the sessions to come. We'll be identifying it. We'll be seeing the materiality of a company. We'll be seeing what matters. For a textile industry, probably water matters. For an IT industry, the materiality is data, for example. So it varies. Each company is unique. Each industry is unique. So we will be identifying it. We'll be giving metrics to it, and we'll be taking you through in this roadmap. Now, seeing at the bigger picture, why these organizations are adopting ESG. 6 forces all pointing to one direction, ESG. What are these? Customer expectations. ESG is good. Customer expectations will be on your customer expectations or on your good ESG practices. Investor expectations. To meet the investor expectations, the organizations should be following good ESG practices. Similarly, for meeting the supply chain requirements, for meeting regulatory expectations, for cost reduction opportunities and competitive advantage gaining, for meeting all these forces, your organization should be having a strong ESG. It's becoming a business requirement. It is about your business prosperity. It is not a voluntary initiative. It is not just about compliance. It is about your business. It is about your own survival. It's about your own prosperity. This is ESG for. Now, if you are good with your ESG, what would you gain? You will gain cost reduction in your operations. Your revenue will grow. Your eligibility for getting tenders, winning bids increases. Your ESG is strong. You're the person eligible for this tender. Whether you're in L1 or H1, your ESG is strong, you get the tender. Which you become export ready. Your products will be in demand all over the world globally if you're strong in ESG. So you become export ready. You get investor confidence. This is the gain that you get if you're strong ESG. You get reputation enhancement, brand value. You retain your talent. Skilled workforce stays with you, works for you, grows, helps you in growing your organization, takes your company to great heights while they themselves prosper. Business resilience in the sense capability to stay strong even in the face of challenges, unforeseen risks, unforeseen events. Even in the face of unforeseen events, your company can stay strong and resilient if you already have good ESG practices implemented. That is the gain you get. Resilience is the buzzword of industries business nowadays. Strong, if whatever happens, irrespective of what would happen to this world around you, company, your environment, your business should prosper. So that happens if you're that's what you call business resiliencies. So this business resilience can happen if your ESG is strong. Net zero ambitions you can reach quickly. Our India has got 2070. Globally, it is 2050 is the year when net zero has to be reached. You can reach even earlier than that. Because reaching earlier there means that your business prospers more. Quicker your, more prosperity for you, more profits for you. Now, going forward, say to the year 2030, say two companies are there, a company A and B. Company A has reactive compliance. That is, only if the compliance is asked for, it will go for producing it. Reactive, not voluntary, not proactive. It's only reactive. And it has got no ESG strategy, no sustainability targets are there for it. It just functions. So that is a company A. Now take the case of a company B. It has built and is building its future on purpose. It has got goals. It has got a vision. It has got a mission. It is ESG strong. It is giving importance to ESG. It measures its ESG performance. It manages risks proactively. The company A was reactive. Here, this B company is proactive. Runs before an event actually happens. Improves efficiency continuously. It is a day-to-day activity for this company to improve its efficiency. It engages stakeholders openly, transparently. Engagement of stakeholders. Every day it gives response. It is responsive and it is responsible for whatever it has done. So that is company B. And it has got good plans for the future. It doesn't stay calm. It doesn't stay where it was put. It plans for the future. It goes with its future plans. This is company B. Now, as an investor, where will you invest in company A or in company B? If you're an employee, in which company would you work, in A or B? If you're a client or a customer, where would you buy from? Would you buy a product from company A or company B? Or if you want to partner yourself with some company, you got some money with you, you want some partnership into some company, would you go for company A or for company B? Obviously, it is company B, right? So I am putting this for the case of 2030 because we can plan. There is time. There is a 3-4 years of time. We can plan. We can move. Even if we are not yet ready, we are here to help you. We are here to lift you up. We are here to guide you through to make you ESG ready, to make your company prosperous. So with this, we'll stop this session. And in this next session, which will be in the next Tuesday, we'll see how ESG can influence business growth, trust, and future readiness. And we'll see how ESG can be made as a tool, value creation tool, how to make it a value creation tool, how ESG and stakeholder trust move hand in hand. See some real business case examples. We have seen one or two, a few examples now. We will go into further examples, real-time examples we'll see in the next session. And we'll see how ESG and business growth are interrelated and how we get competitive advantage, how we can take this forward strategically. All these aspects will be seen in the coming sessions. With this, I stop my presentation here. Thank you all for attending this session. If you have any queries or clarifications, you're welcome to give your feedbacks or questions. I will
Sir,
be
excellent
happy.
presentation, sir.
Sir,
It is a very excellent presentation, and
thank you, sir.
we learned many things. And you have given presentation on the net zero. Today is the need of the hour for the world. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, with all your cooperation.
It's
And
excellent presentation.
thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Sir is Professor Seshadri Tirumala, sir. He's a registrar of Nikmar University. I'm very happy to get this feedback from such a renowned personality. Getting a comment from an ordinary person is different, and getting such a comment from such a renowned personality is indeed very fortunate. I deem myself fortunate for this comment from you, sir. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you all. So with this, I stop this session. We'll meet next week with good inputs. Thank you. Thank you.